Thank you. You guys know me well. Thought I was recording the class. I started recording the class. Okay, so we're going to start. Let's do this. We're going to start with the yellow lines. We're going to start by drawing the yellow lines. I'm going to suggest, yeah, so as Linda suggested, you can put this anywhere. You can move this, which means you'll just have more dark below and less light above. Hold on, let me take a picture of this. Gonna get into WhatsApp. Here we are. So you already have the picture in color. So let's start with the yellow lines first and our pencil drawing, which means, let's put this here. And I also have a schedule for what we're going to teach all year in all the classes, which I'll talk to you guys about. Here, let's see, move it over a little bit so we can see it. So yeah, I'm going to move mine like Linda suggested. I'm going to keep mine vertical, but I'm going to move mine toward the edge, sort of towards the top. So my apple is a little bit more towards the middle. In fact, I'm going to move it even more. As I look at this, I'm like, yeah, I want it up even higher. So I'm starting with this line. Why do we always start with this line? This kind of crazy envelope of shape? It's because I want you to get, it's easy to get caught up. Whoops, it has to come over. So it kind of comes down like this, and then it's straight, and then it comes over. We need to get the relationship of the objects to each other and to what's around them. Is that right? I think this needs to be wider. Yep. So you see I'm adjusting the size. So before we, like this, and also this. So this top is a little bit smaller, and this kind of comes down. This comes straight down and then over like that before coming over here. So we're going to start with that line. This line. Once we get this line, then I can continue to come down. Notice I'm not, although this appears to have a curvy shape, really this has a lot, and notice how wide this is here. So make sure that you extend this line much farther out than here. So where this is going to be wider than you think. And the reason it's wider than you think is because it's coming towards us. And it touches the edge of this apple. The other apple kind of comes down.
I have to leave for a short time. I'm sorry. I'll be back.
And so I notice as I sketch this out that I've got to redraw this kind of more like over like that. So it's good to get these outer shapes because they help us. You see how I'm correcting myself as I'm going through? So I want to make sure there's this little triangle of shape here. In between, I want to make sure these things kind of line up. I want to make sure there's enough room for both this and then to have a little bit of the edge on the other side. Now I feel ready to do my red lines. Let's put those in. So we've got a triangle here, and then we've got our inside lines. here. Notice how much I'm letting the negative space affect what I do. Now I'm looking at this. Oh, it's good. Notice the slice kind of comes in front of the apple a little bit, not much, but just a touch. So before I start drawing all these inner things, I'm paying attention to the relationship of these shapes. I think that's the thing. I'm paying attention as much to the shape next to what I'm drawing as what I'm drawing, actually. And then I'm skinnying this out a little bit so that it's a little bit narrower here. So I'm really making sure these outer shapes are in relationship to each other before I start adding in the inner lines. There's kind of a little space like that. This is happening here. So this is where it starts to get actually not only darker, but redder. This is an apple that goes from kind of green to red. I know that this side, I can see much more of this side than this side. This side is here, but it's skinny. I kind of covered it up with my drawing, but we'll look at it again. Oh, looks in pretty good shape. So this is what we're working with in our sketch. Let me take a picture. And you'll see, as you notice, this morning I did a lot of correcting. Sort of depending on where I am in my day, my eye is better. Depending on how distracted I am, it can be harder for me to get in. It's funny, like teaching is awesome, but it is also true that it gets you out of right brain because I'm using words to explain things. So sometimes it's hard for me to get into this. It's just hard for me to see it. Let's see. So here's the sketch. So anyway, you'll notice sometimes I do better at that. Sometimes I do worse at that. And if I do better at worse than it, then you should be able to allow yourself to do better and worse at that. We come to art at different phases. Whoops, here we go. Sometimes we're ready for it. Here, let me try that again. Sometimes we're feeling really on, and other days we don't. Other days we feel off. So the point is not to get it perfect all the time or to be right on all the time. The point is to kind of create a system like this, where I'm doing the outer lines first, where I can correct the most easily. So it's not about getting it right. It's about setting up the system so that when you're ready to get it to do correct, it's easier. If you start with too much detail in here, it becomes impossible. So it starts with getting the outer, like the outer edges first, so that we can construct within. And that mentally takes a while to shift into. And you'll notice sometimes you'll be better and worse at it too. If you're tired, it's kind of harder because it requires thinking in a different way than you're used to thinking. You're looking at things, you're trying to deter. Also, as you'll notice, things are different in shape than you think they should be. So there's a lot of stuff going on there. Here, I'm gonna put this here now. Go ahead and send your drawings over when you're ready. When I see a few drawings, I'll know to go on to the next step.
So, Leah, I have a confession. I'm not doing the apple. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this guy cropped like that.
Is that my guy?
Yes.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Are you doing him in pastels or paint?
No, I'm gonna do him in watercolors. So he might not come out very well.
Oh, right. Well, you just send it along as you want to. Wonderful.
I'm drawing him right now.
Wonderful. I'm so excited.
I couldn't resist when I saw him last night. I thought, how can I do the apple when his face is there?
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy. That makes me really happy.
Oh, good.
I love it. I might buy it from you.
I don't think it's going to be viable. I mean, I don't think it's going to be good enough.
Well, we'll see. All right, Olga, looks great. Good job, Anik. Send in your stuff when you're ready. I'm so stoked. And of course, as always, Nina, what is this stuff you're working on? I can't stand this stuff. I cannot stand this paper. What is this stuff you're working on? There's too many. All right. Well, it's not going to take to pastel well, but I want you to look, Nina, and see that your apple there's a little too much space between these two. So work on making the triangle between them a little closer. So you have this happening. I'll show you. You've got this happening like that. That's your space between your two sides. You want to correct it to go like this. So, right. So this is what your slice looks like. Right? Because you've made this side too big. So you want to really look at this shape. It's kind of a bench shape. It's more like that. So once you get this shape, that will show you where to put your apple slice. Also, this guy isn't wide enough. He's too narrow. So make this one wider. Yours is here. So bring out the side here. I know this really, why is it so foldy? Interesting. Linda, looks good.
I think I now realize that mine is probably too narrow, like the negative space.
You can fix it. A little bit, Olga. Tiny, not too much actually, believe it or not. But you can fix it a little bit.
It was me. It was Anya.
Oh, Anya, sorry. Oh, yes, Anya, definitely. Yeah, fix that. Good job. Linda, good. Needy, good. Needy, you have your, let's see here. I'm just looking to see. That's okay. It's almost coming too high, this apple slice, and this triangle needs to be wider. Yours is very narrow, so Needy, yours looks like this. Got it? And it needs to be out here. It doesn't have to come in as I have mine coming in a little bit more than it should from the apple. Yours doesn't have to come in that much, but it needs to be wider here at the base. And the reason it needs to be wider here is that this part of the apple slice is coming towards us. So it's bigger than what's happening back here. I know mentally that's tricky to wrap your minds around. I'd say the same thing with you, Linda. Can you like increase it in size, make this a little bit wider here, this part?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, there we go. Good job, you guys. Great work. Okay, so here's a question. We're going to do a single a tonal underpainting, meaning we're going to use one color. Yes, we're doing acrylic. We are doing acrylic today. Nina, we'll be doing acrylic until April. and then we'll move to watercolor. So, and I'll come up with a list for watercolor supplies. Okay, so tell me what color you think we should use for our base. We have a couple options. Ideas?
Blue,
Why blue?
because the apple is yellow.
So blue, that would be purple.
Hmm.
It would be purple. Blue and orange are like, blue and orange are the complementary colors. Purple's an interesting one. I
They're
hadn't
not
thought about.
opposite.
I haven't thought about that. I totally hadn't thought about that. It's funny, the apple is part red and part, I look at this apple as kind of green, but you're right,
So
there's a lot of yellow in it. My thought was we might try a green underpainting because there's some red here. But you know what? I'm gonna let you guys pick the color that you want. So you can, I think burnt sienna would work. I think a burnt sienna underpainting would work. I think try a blue, try a green. I'm gonna say, I'm trying to think of what I would like to do. I think I'm gonna, boy, purple is captivating me right now. I have no idea what it's gonna do, but now I kind of want to do it. Heck, what are we gonna, oops, I need to bring this up again.
I vote for purple.
Let's try it. Let's try it. Why the heck not?
I agree.
It can't hurt, right? All right. So you're probably going to have to mix your purple, which means we will need ultramarine blue. A little bit of ultramarine blue and some cool red. So either quinacridone or alizarin crimson, definitely not cadmium. You do not want or a pyrrole or any of those warm reds. You do not want a warm red for this. This is awesome. All right. Let's see. Yellow, purple. I like it. Okay, so I'm going to grab my big brush as usual. We're going to do most of this with a big brush. This brush is, I know this is Europe. This brush is, let's see, how many centimeters is this brush? Can I read my centimeters? This is like 2 centimeters, this brush.
Yeah, can you please see my drawing?
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Looks good to me. Looks great. Actually, looks great. The apple's good. They're both good. The slice and the apple are fine. The apple slice and the apple are great. Okay, so once again, now there is, oh yes, and as an announcement, there's going to be there's going to be a like 1 to 2 hour acrylic painting basics lesson on Tuesday starting at this time. So that those of you who want to just practice the basics without really painting anything, we're going to talk about this. So we'll be talking about a lot of the things I go over in class. I want my first layer of paint to be kind of strong. So once I get my brush wet, I'm squeezing off the extra paint so that it's damp, but it's not dripping. So when I come in here, where's my palette knife? I can mix. I'm just taking my brush to do this. I can mix my 2 colors together.
That's quin red and ultramarine blue?
Yep.
Oh.
Good job. Great job, Rashmi. And I'm gonna already the light is changing, so I'm having to move this so that we can actually see it. Hang on. It's a little bit better. Yeah, quin red. And I notice I'm just mixing with my palette. I want this to be fairly dark. I want there to be enough painting I want there to be enough on here to, what is like, it's hard to see. Moving things around. Nope. Nope, that's more bright. Give me just a second, you guys. It literally was working half an hour ago. Oh, no. All right, let's try this. All right, you want it to be dark enough so that when you lay it down, it's not dripping. And of course, the darkest thing here is really the this sheet thing that I have for the still life. You may have to get your brush wet again, but if you do, it might be, you know, become too dry. You still want to squeeze out the extra water before you go back in. Notice I can actually correct my drawing a little bit. Whoops. With my paint. I can kind of go into the pencil drawing and carve it out. I've run out of blue, so things have gotten a little bit dark. So see how I'm making this quite dark. Last night, some people were asking why, if we like to use complementary colors, we're gonna do this blue, do this all in one color. And my response was to say, well, I just think it's simpler. And the focus on this stage of the painting is values, less than it is anything else, right? Getting light and dark values. When we throw another color into the mix, it can be confusing. The color quality isn't too bad. We're going to keep playing around with this as you look right now.
Leah?
Yeah.
Sorry, I have another quick question. I was just wondering, these colors like ultramarine blue, the one we usually use for mixing, right, are universally known as being good for mixing? Because the other day I went to a shop and they had only the basics, and they included basically exactly what we use all the time. So cadmium yellow, ultramarine blue, and so I was wondering.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I think so. I mean,
Yes.
It's two things. Yes. Basically, what I'm selecting are colors that I have found create the mixes that we want. Every teacher is going to have a different thing, but yeah, these are universal colors. And in fact, the conversation we were having, oh, very nice, Needy, good job. The conversation we were having at the beginning of class was, how do you tell which color is which since the names change from place to place? And what Jessica was pointing out is that it's about pigments. Each color has a pigment name, a number that stays the same. So yeah, these are pretty universal color mixes, though it doesn't mean that like different teachers won't want you to have different things, but you can know that with me, these are the colors you'll use, and you'll use them consistently across mediums. So across oil, across acrylic, across watercolor, there's very little variation. These are the colors I like to mix with. Occasionally I add a new color to my palette. And when a teacher introduces it, somebody else introduces it, and I'm like, I like that. But yeah, these are universal. Okay. It's a great question. It's a wonderful question. Keep them up. Okay, so once we get these darks in here, now I'm going to make my paintbrush a little bit wetter, so it's kind of drippier. And I'm going to mix more, but I want it to look, see how I'm kind of tapping this here? And you can see it's less about kind of, see how the paint is dripping down my hand? I don't know if you can see it, but the paint's actually dripping on my hand. Yeah, I don't like what's happening here. Hold on. So I'm going to play around with the light just a little bit. Hang on. There. That's better. That's a bit better. I think I need one of those anyways. So if you can see, I have less paint on my brush and more water. So it's waterier, which will make it lighter. So I'm going to go to the next darkest. Whoops, that's a little too dark. So I'm going to dip in some more. I'm going to get even more water on my brush. So I want something. Oh, you're going to see this too. So for my second darkest area, it's looking very blue, not so purple. There we go. I want this to be dark, but not as dark as the background around it. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm so fascinated by what's going to happen here. Like, I'm really excited about the idea of a purple underpainting. So this is like, if this is a 5, this is a 4. It's okay if it gets a little darker and you kind of lose the edge a little bit. A little darker is better than a little bit lighter. Let's bring that up here. There we go, like that. So notice I'm using more water and less. And then for this, for the lightest areas, I'm going to use even more water. So I'm dipping my brush in the water. I am not squeezing it. I'm going to do this. And then I'm actually going to take my rag or my paper towel and tap it off a little bit. So I've still got color, but it's lighter. We want to get color everywhere. Excuse me. Just simply because, yes, just simply because, it's like paint looks better when it's layered. Excuse me again. Jeez. Thank you. So see how I'm just kind of laying it down? I'm going to keep this side of the white darker and up here a little bit darker, but down here on this side, maybe I'll put a little bit of dark in here so that we have this gradual shift from dark to light. And then we'll just get a very light wash using that same technique, not very much paint, lighter wash up here. Oh my God, the possibilities, the possibilities. Purple. I haven't used this. Last night we used green because we had a red apple. I'm totally stoked to see what this does. Yeah, so, and by the way, coordinators, if we've got people who are new, who are kind of shy to start painting because they haven't done it, Tuesday's class, which will be at this time, starting at this same time as this class does on Tuesday, will really review a lot of color mixing and basics. It's going to be an awesome sort of introduction to how to use your brush with things like when to use more water, when to use less, et cetera, et cetera. I'm covering up my drip marks a little bit, although I don't know why, because I like them. You can see that. Yeah.
Hi, Leah.
Hi.
I just wanted to know, for the lighter shade, you have used the same color, the purplish one with lots of water, is it?
Yep, exactly. So you just keep dipping your brush in the water till you have less paint. Yep, exactly. So this is what we call a single tone underpainting, right? It means everything is the same color, and it's just as we use more water to get things lighter. Great question. Let me take a picture of this so you can see it. It's looking really cool already. Diana, what are you working on today?
I think I'm gonna do a dog that another dog that it's an assignment. It's
not your Lincoln. I thought you were so close.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on Lincoln too. I just gonna sketch out this dog first so I get going.
And avoiding Lincoln as long as possible. I totally am there.
Yes.
I totally get it.
You're right.
I get it. Hey, Painting is about the profession. Painting is about the art of having enough things going on so that you can avoid the things you're not really up to doing.
Yep.
I agree with that 1000%.
Right? Like there are things that take a lot of energy and concentration, and it's important. I have days where all I can do are just little tiny paintings. I
loved your pepper painting.
Oh, my pepper painting. Thank you. Oh, right. On whose pepper painting?
Diana's. I mean, she had put it up on Facebook.
Didn't it go well? Didn't it go well? I know. I think it went really well. Good, Olga.
I actually asked Leah for the picture. It was so pretty.
You inspired Rashmi to try it out.
Yes,
That's good.
It's
you
really
do it
good.
every time you.
As usual, like I mentioned at the beginning of class, I did that still life for West Coast. I got too ambitious with West Coast, and everybody did great. I don't want to say that, but we didn't quite have time to finish it, and there was a lot of mixing because we had those 3 different colors and we had to mix them totally differently. So I was like, okay. I always figure out by the time I get to you guys what's actually doable in 2 hours.
Yeah, I did an apple study like it, and I really hated it. So I send you my apple study. I didn't even finish it
because it was boring.
I know you're too hard on yourself.
She was bored. I know what happened. No, it's all right. It's valid. She was bored. This looks great. Looks good, Rashmi. Yep. Look at how already our painting has a little volume as we add the lights and darks in. I'm always fascinated by this, how even in this rough, people ask me, how do you paint abstractly? And I'm like, you kind of keep the colors in blocky like this. And we're not going to really paint super abstractly, but that's how we start. All right, now, once you're done with this, I'm going to move this to the side. We're going to do some color mixing and a little bit of brushwork. So it would be great if you had a extra piece of canvas or canvas paper that you're going to use for practice.
I found these small, greeting card size canvas sheets for you, rough practice.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I just
perfect. That's perfect. I love that. Or you could cut a sheet in half, right, so that you have it, and you can put gesso over the top of it.
I tried that as well. Yes, that works a lot.
You want it so that you're not wasting it, but that you have this chance to practice, because having this chance to practice is really important. All right. So we've got our blue and our red here, our purple. We are definitely, while you guys are getting ready here, I am going to lay the palette out. We're definitely going to want some yellows. I think we're going to want, so if you've got Viridian green, you're going to want a little bit of that. Viridian green, where on golden? I have an ASTM D5098 number, but I don't have the P number here.
On Viridian and golden?
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a look.
Ja, jag gör det. Jag gör det.
Okay.
What was that number again, Leah? Can you please repeat it once?
I don't
That's
have
not
it.
A pigment code.
That's not a pigment code, so ignore it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that actual Viridian comes in acrylic. I'm going to look it up for you, though.
I have this one. No, sorry. This one says Viridian hue.
It might be
this
a
is
phthalo.
Viridian. It's a hue. It's a hue.
It's not actual Viridian then. It's probably a phthalo green.
Yeah.
Anything that says hue means it's a substitute for a pigment, either because it's an expensive pigment, which Viridian is, or in the case of acrylic, not all pigments
they just don't make it.
They don't make it in acrylic. It doesn't work with acrylic binder.
So
I'm looking right now for you though.
cad yellow medium is PY35. So that's definitely there.
Yeah, that's a cadmium yellow.
That's
That's
a cadmium
pigment
yellow
yellow 35. Hold on, I'm
Uh-huh.
looking for your viridian.
So you're going to put viridian green. We're going to put this down. We definitely need some cadmium red.
We need cadmium red for this?
Yep. Yep. A little bit.
For the orange hue, right?
For the red that's down here at the base,
Okay.
this is kind of red. Let's see. So yes, and then we'll need some white. I feel like you're really getting into it, guys. Rashmi, I like these questions. They're really, what else do we need? So we've got blue, we've got the red. We've got
blue was it? I'm sorry.
Yellow medium. I'm just putting together, I'm just talking to myself as I'm putting together the
Well, which blue was it? Was it ultramarine or the other one?
Ultramarine.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Ultramarine. Green, red. Oh yeah, you'll want a little burnt umber on your palette as well. Burnt umber. Hold on, I'm putting it all down, and then I'll write it down, and then I'll send you a picture. Okay. Hold on here. Oh, I've got a marker. I'll write it down. There you. So this is alt blue. So warm blue, really. Quin red, kind of a cool red. Viridian green, neutral green. Cad yellow. Cad red. White. And then this last one, burnt umber. I'll take a picture of this and send this across so you guys can see it. Because already, here, once again.
What can be a good substitute for burnt umber? I don't have.
There's no substitute for burnt umber. Do you have burnt sienna?
Yes.
You can use that. But it's not a great substitute, but it'll work. Here we go. This is better.
Yellow ochre won't work, right?
No. Nope. Nope. You want a dark, but you need a dark orangey brown.
Okay.
Okay. So good questions, though. I'm glad you guys are asking these. Hold on. Let me get in here.
Burnt ochre won't work?
No. Oh, Linda, very nice. Annika,
Do
nice.
you have the Faber-Castell set?
Yeah, I have the same set. Faber-Castell.
Okay, hey Leah.
Yeah.
If you're interested in your viridian in golden, it is a 3 pigment paint.
Got it.
It is phthalo blue,
Mm-hmm.
a bit of zinc white they put in there, and nickel azo yellow.
Interesting.
So it's very much of a mix.
Yeah,
it's the only I mean, it's absolutely fine. It's a nice color. It's absolutely fine for what you're doing. The only thing you may want to know, and I'm just speaking because I know Leah knows this already, because she uses oil paints as well. If you go to oil paint and you get yourself an actual viridian PG18 in viridian, it's going to mix very differently.
It's bluer. It's actually
just going to mix differently as far as chroma goes because it's a single pigment.
Yeah.
Anytime you mix pigments together, even in the tube, you're going to lose some chroma. You won't notice it too much, but it's just something to just know.
Right. Natalia, in this particular exercise, it's okay, but do notice it changes your red. I'm sorry, I'm talking to Natalia about something she just sent over the thread. So this is a little too red here. For a purple, but this will totally work for this exercise. Just be aware that you need a cool red to make a purple, but that I think this will actually look great. I actually think this will totally work. It's just good to notice when things are, all right. So, and I keep losing my palette knife, putting my palette knife down and not finding it. Here we go. Okay. So, now we're going to practice some mixes. The challenge with this apple is that it's kind of orangey yellow here and then it turns into red. It's one of those mixed apples. I think it's a Gala apple that like really does turn red here. So we are going to be playing with some, our mix here is going to be a little different than what's happening up here. What we're going to start with, and then we're also going to practice how to make this transition between the green and the red. So I think for the shadow color, and as you guys remember, as the color kind of comes, as the sunlight comes down, or the light comes down, you can see there's a little blick here, a little white area. I'm going to lightly sort of circle it so you can see it. That really shows you where the light's coming from, this kind of little white highlight, which we're going to put on towards the end of the class, which means that everything as you get to here, everything down here is in shadow. Everything from here down, everything here, everything on this side is in shadow because the light is coming from this side and hitting here and here. So as it turns away from us, what this means is actually this spherical apple has a side, just like a cube. This is the side moving away from us. This is the side away from the light, right? So we're going to need to mix a color that has a little bit of the complement in. So my suggestion, we're going to start with some cadmium red, actually. And we're going to mix in a little bit of green into it. Start with that. A little bit of green. So go ahead. Yeah, actually, this is pretty good color quality we can see on the video right now. So go ahead and start mixing yourself a little bit of colored, and you can pull in a touch of yellow as well, but not too much. It's mostly going to be red and green so that we have this kind of pretty burgundy-ish, darkish sort of reddy color, burgundy color. This is going to be our base for here and then in here.
That's the Viridian green we are talking about.
Yeah,
right?
the Viridian green,
Yeah,
or whatever the closest thing you have.
Yeah, it's okay.
Right? Or whatever the closest thing you have to this is. So, so it's a kind of a slightly muddy color, but it's going to come across really nicely. And then for the light, we're going to mix yellow, the light side, we're going to mix yellow, a touch of red, teeny touch. We want this mostly to be yellow. We don't want a lot of red in here. Remember to wipe off your palette knife in between when you're doing mixes so that it's clean, because otherwise you'll be messed up with your mix. And I'm also going to pull in a touch of green. So interestingly, it's just a different variation of mix. There's a little bit of green in here, not too much. So I'm gonna, it's mostly, it's actually the same like colors that are in here, but a different emphasis. So it's mostly yellow with a touch of red and a touch of green. Yeah, I think that's really nice. And once you have, I'll write down this mix. So this is yellow plus tiny red dot plus tiny green. This is red plus green plus tiny yellow dot. I need to kind of come up with a better way. I should do like a minus. I should do like a greater than or less than to indicate just a little bit. So next time I'll do that. I'm going to take a picture of this so you guys can see it. It's looking pretty good on the camera though. At the moment I can see. And then once you've mixed it, your practice is going to be, you want to take your brush, clean it up, squeeze out the extra water. And then I want you to start by laying some light color here. Mix your, clean your brush. And then lay dark color next to it. And I want you to practice a blend, a soft edge. So we start with the hard edge here. Then I take more of the light color onto my brush like this. And I kind of tap it across. See that? So that I get rid of the lines. This is really hard. It's going to take you a while. This is the practice, right? We've practiced this before. If you feel like it's too dark, it's okay if there's kind of a medium color in here. If it goes from light to kind of medium to dark, that's okay. So that I don't see, so notice I created my brush strokes by doing these vertical strokes, and then I'm going horizontally with wet paint, wet light paint across to get rid of my line. So there's a transition that's a little bit smoother. I'll be happy to do this a few more times as you get to it. There it is. So, but it looks like this. So this is the hard, this is the soft edge. And that's how we do this transition. And you'll find yourself going back and forth, doing it quite a lot. And this is the hard edge. I'll show you the hard edges here. Right? There's a big difference between this and that in terms of edges. You'll be using your hard edge for things like the outside of the apple where it meets the background. That is where you'll be using a hard edge, and you'll want to create a harder edge with your brush. But within each of the slice, the apple and the apple slice, you're going to see there's a kind of soft blending that's happening. And it's okay if it doesn't come right away. This is practice. Soft edges are it's the penultimate, it's the only, really technically, soft and hard edges are the only things in painting. And then the type of soft and hard edge just changes depending on the subject matter. But really, painting is just these two edges, soft and hard. So learning to do them is a practice. It looks really cool. I think it looks pretty cool. I love those drips. I think they add like wonderful texture.
Yeah, but it's just weird because it didn't start dripping right away, and then I just suddenly turned around and I was like, what the heck?
Where is it? This painting is becoming younger every moment. Awesome. Wonderful. Okay, so for those of you who are in the US, I'm going to put the Amazon wish list for the US of all the materials that you need for painting in this chat. So I'm going to do that. In fact, I put it in another chat. So let's see, I put it in the chat last night, so I think I can do it. Pretty good, Rashmi, pretty good. Yep, looking nice.
Leah, my cadmium red is a bit too orange than yours. I don't know why.
You're not actually, mine's pretty orange.
Okay.
Mine's pretty orange. It might just be like quality. And also if you're using that Faber-Castell set.
No, I'm not. I'm using a different local.
Oh, yeah. So it might be different. I don't know what the cadmium red should be a basic. I don't know what Jessica, do you know what
it's an orangish red. I mean, I just see some warm tones in it.
Yeah.
If your tube was not very expensive, it's probably not a cadmium,
blend.
and that's fine.
That's
a
blend.
Totally fine. But yeah.
Okay,
cadmiums are expensive.
Annika, this is still too harsh. I want you to work on your blending. So it's keep working on, I can still see a strong line here. So keep working on that. Anik, getting pretty good, looking good. You guys feel like you're starting to get a little bit more of the hang of this blending thing? It's a practice. Oh, hi, lady. Where are you? Come here. Come here. She really wants to not be here, but come on, lady. Come on. Come up and say hi to everybody. How's my girl? Oh, how's my girl? Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah, she does want to sit on my lap. Here, wait. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, no, she doesn't. If you look at me, my screen, I know.
He's sweet.
Oh, I know. She's just the sweetest, but she really wants to be in her warm spot because it's cold. I adopted Mooka in a snowstorm, so I think snow always sends her to a place of, I was living outside.
Are you getting a lot of snow, Leah?
Not really, a couple inches, not like you guys.
Well, we keep getting off and on, off and on.
Yeah, like it doesn't quite go away. Linda, I'm still seeing, it's still looking pretty strong, the line. So I want to see more of a blend happening.
Yeah, I'm trying again.
Just keep going. It's like, this is something that you'll go back and forth and do 100 times, right? Like this practice. For our acrylic painting basics, I'm going to talk more about, we're going to do more practice and we're going to paint a sphere if we have time. We'll do some color mixing. We're going to talk about how to use the brushes, but it's all stuff that we do in class. But I think it might be useful. Is anybody interested here in this class? I mean, I don't have to do a morning class if Europe doesn't want to do it, but there will be a video. But if you're interested, yes, I will do it at this time. I will totally do it.
I am interested.
Yeah.
I have something that gets a bit in the way at the beginning, but
okay. Yes, Nina says, yay. All right.
Yeah.
So yes.
Is Liquitex a good brand? Because I got most of my colors from it.
What is that?
Is Liquitex a good brand for acrylic, this one?
It's not so bad. It's not so bad. I mean, golden is the best, but like acrylic, Liquitex, I've done a lot with Liquitex. If that's what I noticed in India, it's hard. I was looking on India, Amazon India this morning and trying to see what you could get. And
so you don't get the whole set so easily, but I have been buying like single tubes.
Single tubes. Yeah. Liquitex is fine. It's absolutely fine. In
so
truth,
cadmium yellow, which hue I have from Liquitex cadmium yellow, light hue.
That means it's going to be different. It's got a little bit of white and other things mixed into it to make it lighter.
You are using the medium hue color?
I'm using medium. I'm using medium. So use what you got. Cadmium light is kind of nice because it can sometimes cadmium yellow can be a little, medium can be too orange.
I feel that this red is kind of taken over the yellow and it's so hard to like.
Well, then you're using guess what's happening? You're using too much red and you're using too much red. But if the red is taking over
yellow on top of red.
Okay, so let me talk about mixing. Let me talk to you about mixing, Anya. If you do this, I'm going to show you. So you do yellow and then you accidentally put too much red in like this, right? You've got too much red in. You are not going to be able to correct this by putting more yellow in here. You're not going to be able to correct it. You can see the yellow is mixing with the red. You've got to make a new pile with less. So you've got to come back in, scoop out yellow, come down here, grab a touch, just a teeny touch of red, right? There's a kind of thing that happens when you have too much dark pigment in with your light pigment mixes. It takes over and you're not able to correct this pile. So you just have to let this pile go and create a new pile down here with the proper amounts. This is like quicksand. You just keep putting things in and it just keeps like, if it gets too dark, it's very hard to get enough color to make it light again. So yeah, just keep, or you can take yellow. This also works. You can take some yellow and then pull a little bit of this mix, a tiny bit in. That often works of your bigger mix.
When we do this line kind of, so we put yellow on top of the red after we have two colors nearby.
Well, this is something you need to practice. Send me a picture of what you're doing so I can see it, but I just think the point is we're going from yellow to red. So at some point you're going to run out of yellow. And you'll have a kind of medium texture in here. So send me what you're working on and maybe I can see. You're probably a little heavy-handed, maybe not using enough yellow. Send a picture and I'll take a look.
Oh, I have it.
I see. Yep.
Yeah, but
that's fine. This is fine. This is totally fine. This is exactly what you need to be doing. That transition is exactly what you want to be doing. You're going from light to dark. So that's what you want. This is good. You're okay. Needy, you need to work on your blending. I can still see a strong line here between the light and the dark. So keep working on your blending. Annika, better, getting better. So I guess, Anya, I'm going to do this again for you so you can watch it. Watch me for a second. If you're struggling with making this work, watch me do it and I'll show you how to make this work. I mean, I think it looks okay, but it's a light touch. So here's my dark. Now I'm cleaning out my brush. Here's my light. So now I'm really coming in and loading my brush with yellow, the light, and I'm kind of tapping in.
Okay. So I missed this part. I missed like putting yellow again. And then
yeah. You want to load, and then probably if you'll notice already, I have a lot of red on my yellow. So I'm going to clean off my brush again and put more yellow on and continue.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes. All right, there we go. We got it. So that's the way. So you'll be able to do like 2 or 3 strokes with the lighter color. Then you're going to have to go back, clean off your brush because it'll have some red in it. I get it now. Awesome. All right. Are you guys feeling ready to start painting?
Yes.
All right. Let's remove this. I believe our painting is dry. I'm going to put this up here. So now we can see it. All right. So we're going to, of course, start with our subject, right? And as usual, I like to start with the darkest areas first. Because that helps me kind of gauge how light my areas need to be. And we're going to start with the subject. So we're going to mix some of this green, red, mostly red, touch of yellow, mix. And I'm going to put, it should be a little bit muddy. If you feel like it's too muddy, you can add a little bit more red to it. And I'm going to paint it in here. I'm just going to focus on the Big Apple first. And then, while my paint is still wet, I'm going to clean off my brush. I'm going to mix some yellow, touch of red, teeny little bit of green, right? I have my light color. I'm going to bring it up here. It's okay if your light color is a little dark. We can go over with lights later. Darker than you'd like it to be. So you see, I'm bringing it up kind of right to the edge, just like we did. And now I'm going to blend it down into, see how I'm starting to blend that down? Because there's a few little kind of stripes. I'm constantly reloading my brush with more of my light color. And I can actually drag in a little bit of the yellow all the way down into my dark and mix it in with my dark a little bit, because in a few places, it's also kind of a lighter, there's almost a kind of light. It's because it's a stripy apple. So you see, and now here I lost a little bit of my dark, so I'm going to go back in and add it in. Try this again. I'm going to take a little bit of my shadow color and put it up here where my apple turns in. See how that starts to pull out to the edge? And I'm going to do the same thing here. So you see how we practice this move. I'm going to do the same thing down here. The difference is this is going to have a little bit more green in it, my lighter color. But I'll use that same base. Right, so we're really working on getting this transition. You may have to layer more than one. Hold on, I have somebody crying to get out. One moment, lady. So what we're really practicing is this transition from light to dark with a soft edge. Excuse me, I have somebody who wants, the madam wants something. I don't know what she wants, hold on. Yes. Come on. Yes, you wanna go out? You wanna go out? If you get too dark at the beginning, that's okay. We can layer even lighter yellows on top here. But look at how much of the apple I have just by focusing on this transition from light to dark. It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? Like I can even use my finger to kind of blend it a little bit, although be careful because the finger can create little, the finger can do that, which pulls paint off. But every once in a while, you might use your finger. This dry, you'll notice as things dry, they dry a little darker. So what I'm doing now is I'm taking some of the light mix and I'm putting it on the edge of my thick brush and kind of dragging in a stronger line. Because in a few places, there is a feeling of stripiness here. So I'm actually moving into the dark with this lighter color to try and create some of the stripes. We'll see how well that works. Often it's too easy to make it too dark. So I'm going back in with dark and I'm like, nope, I want more. That's better. I need more red. There's a lot of back and forth just to kind of get this right. As this dries, I'm going to add lighter yellow on top. So more yellow, particularly up here. See how I can start to lighten this? Notice how helpful your big brush is. Hi. She just ran outside and then came back in like, what the hell? Oh my God. She's completely, she does not know what to do. Here, hold on. Woo! Yeah, it's crazy. So my apple slice here, this green, I definitely have to move it down to keep it from being so over here. Where can I put you? I'm gonna put you right here. This is a little bit greener than it is yellow. It looks more green. So, and notice as I laid down this green, it got a little dark. So I'm gonna mix my green, I'm gonna mix a little bit of green in with my yellow and lighten it so I can come in on the top. So the really cool thing about acrylic and oil paint is that you can keep getting lighter. Unlike watercolor, where once you've gone too light, you've kind of lost the painting, or dark, you've lost the painting. The darker the layers, the better. Because as you lay light layers on top, it looks really nice. This is why we do an underpainting. I'm going to try adding just a tiny bit of white to my yellow up here at the top where it's closest to the light. Tiny bit of white will lighten. And then we've got the little, it's hard to see in this picture, but there is a little blick here, a little white highlight, so I can load up my brush with a little bit of white. The last thing I can do is kind of right here, lay this on top. It'll be, I'm blending it a little bit, but it should kind of read as a reflection that pops out a little bit.
No, তুমি খাও না, আমি একবারই খাবার খাচ্ছি না, সেটা পুরোটাই খাবো না।
And that's what really makes it. That's what really makes it happen.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat, huh? So you're going to be going back and forth on this a lot. Don't expect, you can get your line, you'll lose it. You'll have to go back and get it again.
That's like magic. I looked away for a second and now
and then you came back, right?
Shiny apple.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Wait till we get to, I'm going to show you guys how to paint eyes at some point. It's the same thing. When you paint an eye, if you add in that little light dot, that's it. This is it, the blick. So you just need the light side, the dark side, the transition, and then this little blick, and then this little dark shadow here. And then the more skills you get with the brush, the more detailed you can get, right? But like at the beginning, all we really need to do is this. This is a slightly more complex mix than the mix that we did yesterday's class, because yesterday's class, the apple was more straightforward. This is a yellow and red striped apple, right? Or a green and red striped apple or something. Sandra, I think the purple looked great as an underpainting. I think it worked really well. Bravo. Great work. I'm really pleased. How is my Hermes coming along?
Leah, what color did you use for the light spot again? Sorry.
White and a touch of yellow. Actually, literally white. And when I lay it down, here, let me do this on here. You can practice on your marks if you want to. When I lay it down, come here, you. Running out of space here, but we'll do what we can. When I lay it down here, hold on. I kind of lay it on top a little bit, right? It's a little bit stronger. It's got a slightly ragged edge, but I lay it a little bit. I don't blend it as much as I do the things underneath, so that it'll sit on top and look real. Yes, the highlight this is why we save the highlights to the last, because that's it. All you need is like this, the light side, the dark side, and the highlight, and then you've got something that resembles an apple. in a minute, I'll go through mixing the white part here, which I think is just a different combination of the same set of colors we've already used. It's kind of, but more white. So it's, let's see, I'm going to experiment with this now. I sort of had it last night, but I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be with it. So let's see, there's definitely white in here. There's definitely a touch of green, touch of yellow, red. More yellow. Yeah. Probably Naples yellow is the yellow I need, but I'm not going to throw that at you guys for this lighter part. Let's see how this looks. Not bad. Yes. Okay. And the light side of this, it's hard to see here. Oh, that's better. The light side of this slice is going to be, if you're ready for this, white with a little bit of yellow, green, and red in it. So it's going to be the same as this base color, right? Red, green, yellow, just in different variations. It's going to be mostly white. With red, green, and yellow in it. Yep, I think that's what's going to work. And then this side is going to have a bit more red in it because it's a little bit darker. I could mix more white. Same, but with a little bit more red in it. And then this side is also slightly darker because it's kind of dipping in. If you want to, you can get into all the detail of this, or you don't need to. So this is, here, let me write down this color combination. And this is, let's see, this is white plus yellow dot plus green plus red. Let's see. Is anybody enjoying this? It's kind of fun, isn't it? It's nice. Very nice. Anik, I think you need a little bit more green in your, what yellow are you using?
This is actually
Ochre?
lemon yellow.
Lemon yellow. I think you need a touch more, maybe a touch of white into your yellow to make it lighter on this side, right in here, and then more green in here. So this is a little bit more green if you look at the source. So adjust these, but these are good. I mean, they're good base, but I'm wanting to get, so make it lighter yellow on top. I had to go in with a little bit of white in my yellow mix up here. I'm going to take a picture of this, but good. Getting there. Blending is super hard if you haven't figured it out yet. It's like really hard. Awesome. Here's how this looks. We're getting a little bit better with the lighting to make sure this is looking okay. And here is the mix for this light side, for the inside of this, the inside slice. Oh, come on, don't give me. Oh. Okay, let's see. There is the mix for this white. So this white is mostly white, and then the other three colors we've been using, yellow, green, and red, and then a little bit more red on this side into that mix, and a little bit more green and yellow on this side. So this is like a 1, this is a 2, and that's like a 2.5 or a 3. This is slightly darker on this side. Is anybody enjoying this? It's kind of fun, isn't it? Like the kind of back and forth. Even if you're fighting it a little bit, it's still kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
My yellow gaze on that full apple is not coming along. Like that drip you've done, the light drip on the darker mix. It's
Hold
not
on.
that clear like yours.
Can you take a picture?
Yeah, I'll just send you one.
Let me see. You probably need to add more yellow and perhaps a little white into the top. I went over with a top yellow light, yellow and white mix on top.
Just a second. I think I left my phone in the other room.
Okay.
I sent it to you now.
Okay, thank you, dear. One second. Grab it up here. Yeah, so you just want to blend in at the top here. You want to blend in a nice blending happening here. This should be a little bit lighter.
Okay.
So you can go over. So what happens is you make it darker and then you go over with a little bit of white, whiter mix. So up here, I would recommend actually going over with some yellow and white on top.
So the yellow
and
will
white.
be
Watch.
So the yellow will be more in that in proportion in that mix.
Yes. Up here. So watch. I'll do it right now. So can you see how I'm just adding? This is just yellow and white. I don't want to lose I might lose my blick and have to start over. But see how it's a little bit, how I can make it a little bit lighter.
Yeah, it's just making the fruit pop out.
Yeah. Right? The lighter I can make that
3D
side.
effect. Yes.
So, and also just a lot more paint and make your brush drier.
Okay.
That makes any sense? It's like, so that the paint is so instead of the paint, like, so you can really pile the paint on. So it sits like this. If it's dripping at all, if your brush is dripping, it'll be harder. So now I'm going to go in with my blick again. Yep. I'm doing a lot of like work on the tip with the corner of my brush. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's still a little bit strong. I'm mixing touches. The white spot shouldn't be too big. It should be prominent, but not too noticeable in value, but not too large.
Okay.
Easy to make that too big. Yep, there we go. So yeah, you'll just keep going. Now I've kind of lost my light a little bit, so I'm going back in to try and get it around. And in a minute, we're going to talk about the background. So I think it's probably a good idea to keep this in the blue family, just to make it easy. So I'm going to take some blue, ultramarine blue, and just lay it over the top. And here is where I'm going to be kind of creating my hard line, my hard edge, right? Where it's not ragged, where it's not soft. It's around the outside edge of the apple. So notice I'm coming right with my paint, once again, fairly dry brush with my paint loaded. I am coming right up to the edge of the apple and pulling down. Right up to the edge of the apple and pulling down. Oops, got a little bit in there. Notice the apple doesn't come down in a point like a heart. It's got a kind of little flat. It's got like a little like flat ledge to sit on. And now I'm going to really come up in here. So you can see I'm still using my big brush. And I'm working, I'm gently laying the brush down and then pulling back away. See that? So I can really create that hard edge. Oops, and I totally got dark in there. Never fear, just wiped it back out again. So once again, kind of coming in here, along here, pulling out and back, out and back. Up here, I'm doing the same thing. Here, out and back, out and back. I have a lot of paint on my brush, so this becomes out and back. You'll get, as you get more adept at the brush, you'll be able to do more with it. But this is definitely like, I don't know if you've ever watched, if you guys have ever watched, I taught journalism in an elementary school for several years. And one of the things I really noticed about the kids and kind of about the learning process in general is that it took several years for the kids to be able to get the motor skills, to get their pencil to do what they wanted it to do. So you could watch kids in like,
it was like journalism you were teaching them?
Yeah, I used to be I actually, one of my early jobs in my 30s was to be the journalist in residence at an elementary school where all the kids wrote for the school paper. The plan was to get the kids' writing test scores up, which were terrible, and it did. It completely did. The kids' writing test scores doubled in like improvement every year until like it went from like 47% of the kids passing to 90% of the kids passing.
Wow.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was a great job.
Awesome.
Yeah, so anyway, I spent, yes, as you can imagine, a hilarious 5 years working with, like, I have many funny stories about this, about teaching journalism to kids. And one of the things I noticed, which I think translates over, is that doing this, right? Holding this and writing, it takes several years to develop.
You know, that's an American thing, because in Europe, kids write so much more.
Well, they just write more, right? But my point, I'm just talking about when you look at a kid.
They fill in forms, you know what I mean? They just.
Right, but right. No, kids aren't very good at it in America right now, that's true. But what I'm talking about is when you're watching a child at the beginning of learning to do this at age 5. So I was watching 5-year-olds start to try and make the alphabet, and it was hard for them. Their hands were shaky. Sometimes they could do it. Watch a 5-year-old try to do a circle. Sometimes they can do it. Sometimes they can't. And that it takes 3 years between the ages of 5 and 8 for all kids to develop mentally. The more they practice, the better they get. But it takes like, there's a brain, eye, hand coordination thing that takes like several years to develop so that we can use this tool. Right? So I want you to think about the paintbrush the same way. It's not going to take you as long to figure out how to use the paintbrush as it does when you're a kid to write, but understand that there's a whole coordination thing happening. Your brain and your hand have to link. But you're absolutely right, Sandra, that what I have been very shocked at how American kids now, unless they like to draw or unless they, handwrite, how awful their hand skills are. They cannot, like how handwriting for an 11-year-old typically is much worse. It's like, it's about at the level of an 8-year-old anywhere else. And that's because they don't use it. They don't practice that skill. And what I also find very interesting about this hand skill is that really smart kids also have to go. So kids who are very cerebral, who can understand fairly abstract concepts early at age 6, 7, and 8, still have to go through the same stages as everybody else when it comes to getting your pencil to do the right thing, right? Being able to make a circle, being able to focus. And I have a lot of, like one of my favorite students, I remember when I started with her when she was 6, she's like 14 now. She cried after her first 4 lessons with me. No, she cried during her first 4 lessons with me. And because she could not do the things that I was asking her to do. She was like up through a 5th or 8th grade level in math at 6. She was right, but she could not make the pencil do what she wanted to do. And it was hard for her. Her mom wanted her to stick with it. So I guess my whole point about this whole thing, and her mom definitely was great about it. Her mom recognized she needed to do this and, pushed her through it. But it's to say, even if you're really smart, it's hard to figure out how to get your brush to do what you want it to do. So this is the practice. It's like the wash on, wash off Karate Kid practice. Anik, that's starting to look nice. I feel like, Anik, it's still, you're using too small a brush, or are you using the edge of your brush?
Yeah.
Okay. I think go back to using the flat edge of the brush and let your bristles drag so that we don't have so many stripes here. There's really not any stripes here. Really, the only place where we see stripes is where light meets the light comes into the dark, but it's not the red really coming in here. So we want this part. I can show
you the latest version. Actually.
Yeah, show it. Yes, sorry, I stopped looking for a second. Oh, better. Coming along. Very nice. Just keep on going, right?
I added the white one first of all,
yes.
And then for the slice, the paint, I mixed white and something else, gold ochre.
Gold ochre. So I can see it. It's got a slightly sort of more, which is okay. Ochre does a different thing, but it
tint type. It's a color. Like I was thinking of watercolor. I have this flesh tint.
Flesh tint.
Yeah, and I like to mix it or with green or with gray because it's very nice quality too.
It does. I wanted to make one more recommendation, which is that you push your shadow up here, onto the top part of this, because really the shadow is mostly on this side. Yep.
I usually have.
I'm just being picky. I'm just being picky. And then.
Oh, please be.
The really.
Can I go ahead and make the background as well? I mean.
I was going to tell you. You have some options here. I kind of like how this looks, but we're going to change it. I am going to go with, and this is cheating because I didn't ask you guys to get this color, but we're going to do this. I am going to go with teal for my background color, but you can pick a color that you want to. The reason I'm going with teal is that this color seems to showcase everything beautifully. So I'm going back over the top here.
Leah, you ought to just add it to the supply list.
I should add it to the supply.
1000%.
I know you're a cobalt. I know you are, right? This is like, there's something about this color, this teal, that is like, I will add it to the supply list because it's really pretty awesome.
It's a great color. It's the most awesome color.
I think it's an awesome color because it showcases well against every other color. Like it really is a beautiful, it makes every other color. It's got little bits of a lot of different colors in it. So see how nicely this kind of comes out. I might even make a little license and pull down my, my dark on each side. See how I'm pulling this down so I can get a little bit more of the cobalt around, or sorry, the teal around. So you can use teal, but you can use a bunch of different things. You could try, I wouldn't recommend yellow because this is yellow. So you could try a darker, maybe a slightly darker purple. you just want to make sure that this color reads as lighter in value than what's happening down here. But you have options. You could try pink. You could try, there's all kinds of things you could try. So try different colors. Pick a color for your background. This color is very boring. It's like the back of my photo booth, and I made it boring on purpose because I wanted to give you some, you could do a little, a green might be like kind of nice. So, and then if you want to come back, now is the time perhaps to take your skinnier brush and come back in with, oh, so burnt sienna will be a really nice color. Here, hold on. I hadn't put that on my palette.
Add the details?
Yes, like you've got. Yeah, we didn't actually end up using burnt umber today. Interesting. So we could use burnt sienna. I'll show you where it'll look really nice. Put some burnt sienna up here. Ah, no, don't fall. Come here, you. Right, so here's a little burnt sienna with a skinny brush. I can come back in here and I can add a little bit, not too much. I'm trying to figure out where to put this. You guys here, let's do this.
And yeah, for this white part of the apple, sorry, I got lost. What kind of colors you used?
I sent you a picture with all of the mix.
Oh,
so go back in the thread and find it. It's white, yellow dot, green, and red.
Oh, thanks.
Got it?
I love it how we're using the same colors but in different proportions. And
Yeah,
it's just giving
yeah. And you're seeing that there's a variation that kind of works.
Yeah.
So now I'm coming in here and I'm adding in a little bit of this edge. See how I'm kind of adding this? This is burnt sienna. Now, right now it's a little too strong. But I'll go back over with my other paint. And then I can draw this line. Right, so it's a little bit strong right now. So what I do is I go back in with that mix that Anya's just starting to make now. So that's a little bit, so Anya, you'll get to watch me make that some more. It's white and a touch of green, a touch of red, and a touch of yellow, right? So with more white in it, I can come back in here and then paint up to the edge. So get rid of most of it. See how I kind of add it in and then I pull it back out again? I paint up with the, so I can add in a little bit of that. Whoops, my tape is failing me. I always have like extra tape up on my board, knowing I'm gonna need it, and I keep using it all up. Here, you are gonna come like this. And before my palette falls, here we go. Yep. So can you guys see how this is starting? And so, and this, there's a little bit of a, that little, you know, sort of leafy part that's at the end of the stem. I'll just mix a little bit of Viridian green and red to add that in if I wanted to, right? Just in a little, and I could use my little pointy brush for this.
Okay.
But notice what's really interesting to me is how little detail we need to create a really neat looking, to create something that feels very real. Oh, I'm looking at this and I'm seeing that my shape is a little bit too rounded. I'll show you. Look at here. Really, this should go like this. So see how I took my brush And I marked off where I want to paint. And now I'm going in with some of my background color and I'm coming right up. Isn't that awesome? So I'm just reshaping with paint.
It looks good, Leah.
It does, right?
Yeah, it does. It's the turquoise.
It's the turquoise. I know it's so the teal. I mean, teal is this color that looks good with everything, but I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just saying, try what you've got. Yeah, and maybe I'll add it to the supply list.
I think you have to.
I think I'm gonna do teal for my background of my dog that doesn't even look like a dog yet.
Oh yes, because everybody likes teal. It's a universally loved color.
But it also goes good against.
It looks good against everything.
Brown red dog.
Exactly.
It also makes really good mixes.
Okay. So Emma, it looks to me like you are using a small brush. Am I right? Emma?
Looks like
I'm showing you my brush. This is the brush I'm using.
Oh, hold on. Let me look. Sorry. I need to find you up here. Let me see. I'm looking at the brush you're using. It's too small. So what's happening is you're getting these little scrubby marks that shouldn't be there. Do you see that? Like it's too, like I'm seeing these marks because the brush is too small. Do you have a bigger brush?
Not really, that's the biggest.
Okay, you need to get yourself a brush that's 2 centimeters across. Put that on the list of things to do. And in the meantime, coming along, Natalia, very nice. So yeah, although I kind of like the background, maybe you just want to make that pink a little bit. That's starting to come. So now, Natalia, is a good time to get your background in so you can kind of clean up these edges here, these floaty edges, right?
I was thinking about leaving this color, kind of, the background.
I like that, but maybe thicker.
Okay.
Yeah, so add a little bit of white to it so that it's thicker.
Okay, cool.
So remix it, but with less watery and with more solid color like we did down here. He's so cute, Diana. Really cute.
It looks more like a Muppet than a dog.
Let's see, Diana.
She put it, she's on the thread.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Nina, what I'm seeing here is a very straight line. Can you see this? You're absolutely avoiding blending your brushes. There's like a strong line here between your red and your green. So I want you to start using vertical strokes and a big brush. Watch me here. Watch me, and I'm going to show you exactly what I want you to do. I want you to mix some more light. Oops, I need to get more paint. Hold on just a second. Watch me dig around for my paint. Here, wait. Come here. Okay, so you're going to want to dig around. You're going to want to mix some more light paint. And then some dark. Damn it. Sorry. I don't know why I did that. Oops, I'm back. Yeah, so I want you to watch this blending. So let me show you what you're doing. I'm going to show you what you're doing. You're doing this. You have to be brave with blending. That's the trick. Hold on. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you I'm going to move this away for a second. So you're doing this. You've got your lights here. And then here, I'm going to mix in a dark. This is what you're doing. In a brief way. All right. That's what you're doing. What you want to do is this. Once you get these two colors in, you want to get more of your light and you want to go vertically down with your big brush, dragging down. See that? See the difference? And it's kind of a ragged edge. Softy, ragged edge. See how I'm going, I'm pulling and I'm adding more yellow I'm adding more light when I run out. So it's like this. So it's not this, right? That's what creates that. It's this. It's going down, dragging with this big brush. Okay, now I've got too much. Now I need to get more yellow, right? I can do about 3 taps of yellow into dark before I need to go and put more yellow on my brush. So I've just put more yellow on my brush. This is the move. So try that. Yeah. You have about room for about 2 or 3 strokes of yellow into wet dark before you have to, go back and reload your brush again. That is the tricky part. And Nina, I got to tell you, I don't like this canvas paper. We got to get you something different. So I'm going to send you the supply list. Yeah, it is fun. I'm going to send you the canvas supply list so you can see what canvas is it's going to be a world of difference for you. You're going to be like, why was I even on this other stuff? I know it just isn't, do you see how it's buckling? It's going to drive you crazy. Yeah. So you need canvas. So I am going to send you the supply you need. You can order it on Amazon, or if you don't like Amazon, you can find it other places, but you will see it. And come to the workshop on Tuesday, and we'll really go over these basics. I'll have a recording too. One second, you guys. I am doing 2 different classes on Tuesday. They're the same thing. One's going to be starting at this time. One is going to start at East Coast time, 6 o'clock. So you will, so I'll have the coordinator send out the details, but you should be able to make one of those. One starts at European time, 6 o'clock. The other starts at East Coast time, 6 o'clock. They're both going to be on that. They're both going to be on that day, February 16th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I accidentally pushed that background teal into the hole of the apple. How do I fix that?
Well, you just wait till you just mix more color and put it over the top of your apple color.
Still wet, so I'll have to wait for dry brushing.
Well, you can try it while it's still wet, and if it's blending too much, then yes, wait till it's dry. But yeah, go ahead and try and mix.
Turning into a green.
Yeah, just wait 10 minutes. Work on another area.
Leah, can you put your painting into the main focus?
Yes, I can. Hold on, let me do that. And let me take a picture of it so you guys can have it too. Hold on. Let me take a picture of this so you can see the latest. Oh, Anik, very nice. Now I'm like I'm happy. Ho, ho, ho. I like this kind of muted blue you put up here. It's pretty.
It's actually this emerald green with Prussian blue and
yes, white. Wonderful. I like it. It's this kind of gray neutral, which really pushes your apple forward.
Although I don't like this piece of apple, that how I did it. And
so keep working on it. All right, here's where this is now. Nina, the other thing you're going to want to do is you need to make this color much lighter, your background color. You need to, your background is too dark, which is why you're losing your apple a little bit. You want a lighter background to really push forward your apple. We'll talk about nice work, everybody. You're doing great. By the way, we're totally at time. We're actually 5 minutes past it, but we're going to go another 15 minutes, another 10 or 15 minutes. I spent a lot of time screwing around, getting things done. So you didn't get your proper 2 hours with me. Let's see. Oh, very nice, Needy. Gorgeous. Needy, this is gorgeous brushwork down here. Delicious. It's absolutely delicious. I love it. Gorgeous. Yeah, wonderful. Do you feel like that blending is kind of starting to work for you?
Oh, yes. Actually, you know, sometimes I face problem when I add lots of water.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So you want to use more paint, but yes.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Go ahead and get a background in. I know you have this kind of loose purple, but you want something thicker that will showcase your apple. Very nice, gorgeous. Great. I kind of knew you would be good with brushes from the beginning. I don't know why I knew that. God, Anik, that's just really looking good. Yeah. I know it's not intuitive, right? We don't know how to use them necessarily, but you'll find you'll like using them. It'll be fun for you.
I don't know why I always preferred sketching. I don't know why.
Because you don't know how to use the tools.
Yes, true, maybe.
Right? It's you don't know how to use the tools.
I never played with them.
Right, but you're using them quite well. You're doing a great job. Let's see. Oh, puppy with crazy green eyes.
He's not going to have green eyes. He's not.
I like it. I love seeing the little bits of the underpainting, like whatever you're not doing through. It's awesome. Awesome.
But I think teal will be a good background for this one.
Yes, I agree. Teal is almost always a good background color.
I'm not so much a teal fan, but I think it's too cutesy normally.
It really is. I mean, like I think I've told you guys, if you want to know, like I had a friend once pay somebody to figure out what the top 5 search terms in America were for searching for art, and one of them was turquoise art or teal art. Oh no, come back, Linda.
Leah?
Yes.
My brother is about to call me. I'm going to send you the disastrous cat.
It's okay. You picked a really hard thing.
I am very, very unskilled with a brush and watercolor, but I need to persevere. So
animals in water.
And it's not finished.
Nightmare.
It's really hard.
But I'm
and he's got lots of white. Yeah, send it over. All right, Sandra, we'll see you hopefully tomorrow, where we're going to do a pine tree, probably with some snow on it, since I still have to go out and take a picture of a pine tree. And they all have snow on them right now. Let's see.
Oh, it's nice, Sandra.
It's great, Sandra.
It's awful.
Oh,
no, it's going to be nice when you keep on working.
It's wonderful.
Exactly. It's a wonderful day.
You've got his craziness. Actually, this is much better. Sandra, if you want to have some fun with this, you could let it dry and then go over the top with pastels.
No, I might do a separate pastel.
Okay, I love that. But I think I think you did great. I think
really,
you did great.
I'm just so frustrated with the brushes.
Well, listen, we're gonna spend 2 months working on watercolor painting. Watercolor painting is its own animal.
I know it's very hard. I've been, I keep watching videos and it make it look so easy. And then I tried to do it and I was like,
right. Annika, you got to work on your blending.
Yeah.
You got to work on your blending. You do not have it here. You also kind of lost the shape of your apple, and this you have as a little V, and really it's like a kind of line across, right? Like this. So there's this side of the apple here. So work on your dry. I like your slice. Your slice is looking pretty good. But this apple, you do not have the blend. Re-wet everything, redo it.
Yeah.
And you see how what you ended up doing was this kind of curve this way. Look at how that totally concaves your apple in, makes your apple look sunken.
Yeah.
Makes it look like it's going this way. So just keep working. I know it's hard, but make sure you're using a big enough brush. Just keep going back over and wetting the dark and the light until you get that blend right. I notice, Annika, that you like to work with very strong strokes. And while that is important for voice, you also need to be able to do this, something on this level. It doesn't have to look like mine, but you have to be able to have that kind of softness between things. Also, the strokes on the apple really should be vertical. They should not be going this way. So anyway, all those things. Oops, I just got turquoise all over my apple. Ooh, Anik, this is looking great. Great. So maybe, Anik, look a little bit more at what's happening up here. And you can, with a little brush, add in the detail of the lights and the darks here. So you can get in.
Saying that's the most difficult part of an apple for me.
Right, it's that tiny, because there's the kind of, it comes in sections, right? So just look at those sections. But it's looking great. It has a very classical look.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh my God, I actually think this is what Sandra did was great, but I get why she's unhappy with it, but I actually
I'm
like
still
it a
with
lot.
you.
Oh, well, that's what I say when I think you're not there. I just think this is great, Sandra. I'm like, I know why it bothers you, and trust me, acrylic is its own, watercolor is its own thing, but I just think this is wonderful.
It's just compared to pastel, I feel like so clumsy.
Sure, but remember the story I just told you about the
yes, exactly.
Yeah, the 5-year-olds, right? Going from it's a practice. It's a manual dexterity, and there's a brain to hand. There's a hand-eye coordination that has to happen. It's a very complex skill. And so when you switch tools, it's like getting to use, and for some people, like the brush will be more natural. It'll feel like as you get it, it'll make sense.
But I'm surprised because as a kid, I don't remember feeling that awkwardness with a brush.
You probably just didn't judge. Well, you're reteaching yourself now everything. So you're rethinking. You probably just weren't thinking about it so much, right? As a kid, you're just using it and seeing what it can do, and you're not so hard on yourself. As an adult, we're learning a different, like, trust me, none of my 5 or 8-year-olds could do this level. I mean, it's real hard to get them to do this sort of soft edge stuff. Like I taught kids for a while, and I got to tell you, it was not easy for them. They just weren't so concerned about doing it. You know, on their own, they're just like kind of laying the colors, putting them down.
Right. I'm going to persevere. I'm going to figure this out, but.
I am really appreciating how you guys are, the struggle here. I'm loving it. Nice, Rashmi, you're starting to get there. So Rashmi, this is a little bit, so these need to be stronger, harder lines. Can you see that?
Yeah, actually, I'm just trying to lighten that background that I realized my teal is too dark, and it was almost the same as the back, like
perfect. Perfect. Great. So you can kind of come in here and restart. I like how your blending is starting to happen on your apple. So this area is a little too, I want you to look up at this area now. Your
mine
apple's
is too hard an edge. It should be softer. Right?
Well, here is actually a pretty hard edge. So I'm going to show it to you guys up here to show you. If you're wanting to get focused on detail, look at what's actually happening here. There is a hard edge here. I'm going to sketch it in so you can see it. There is a hard edge here. And then this is dark. This is light. And that's dark. So there's actually a dark, a hard light edge here, a light triangle, and then another light kind of square here. So this hard edge is created by bringing the light right up to the edge of the dark. So that's actually, I'm going to take a picture of this. So if you're wanting to get more detail, I think Rashmi, you also kind of lost the shape of your apple. Yours is looking more like a lemon.
Yeah, it's because I accidentally just pushed my peel into the apple. So yeah, I'm just waiting for it to dry and I'll fix
And then you're going to round it out. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Exactly. So you can do that. You can totally do that. And I'm going to take a picture of this so you guys have it. So if you want to add any detail, it's not a lot of detail, but it's like kind of a nice place to add a little bit of detail. We broke Linda's laptop. Here we are. There. Great job today by the guys. Yeah, it's looking great. It's looking so great.
Yeah, I'll log out now.
Okay, Rashmi, good to see you.
Good night. Yes, I'll join you on Tuesday for that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. We'll see you soon. Yay. Have a great weekend, sweetie.
Bye all.
Bye.
Bye.
I should probably
Bye,
pull
Rashmi.
off let me pull up I'm going to remove the spotlight because I don't think you guys really need it anymore and move you over to gallery view. See who's left here. Anybody want to show what they're working on? Show it. Yeah. Yeah, Nina, I think probably you want something maybe a little greener.
Oh.
Maybe make it a little bit greener. Add a little yellow and green in there. Too minty. It's too cool. It's not warm enough. Yeah, but you're getting there. Nice. God, you guys, these are great. You're doing great. You're making lots and lots of progress. I know Annika's like, I'm going to get that blend. Annika's going to work on this till she gets it. I know you. Oh, Natalia, that looks great. Okay, everybody, stop. Let's hold our pieces up. Oh God, Sandra, I love it so much. I really love it. So, it makes me want to cry. Great. I love it. Listen, you're about to make me cry. I love it so much. You got my boy. Great. You got my boy.
I mean, watercolor is like a beast. You have
it's
to
a beast.
It's very hard.
We're going to spend a lot of time on that. All right. Really wonderful
so
work. Hold it up, Needy. Let's see. We couldn't see because of your background. Hold it up.
Yes. I've not yet changed the background, actually.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous work nice. Today. You guys did great work today. Such great work.
Rashmi,
okay.
I like your painting.
Yes.
It looks really good.
It's coming along. It's really, and she's drying it and fixing it, and she's going to keep working on it too to mute it. You guys did great. You did really great today. And just know this is a practice, right? It's a practice that like you can go over and over and over to do this soft blend to the hard blend. You guys did great. I'm proud of you. Really proud. We'll see everybody. Hopefully I'll see some of you on the weekend. I hope to see more of you on Tuesday. Definitely on Friday. We'll do another still life subject next week in paint, and then we're going to move to animals for 4 weeks. So we'll do 4 weeks of animals in paint. Yeah. And then we'll do a couple of like structure things, like, I don't know, maybe a car, maybe a maybe a barn, something like that, so that we can practice doing, you know, kind of more structured things. And then we'll move to watercolor. So, so great work today, guys. We'll see you soon. Good to see everybody.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.